All right, so let's break down what happened in that crash. If you haven't seen it already, I posted a video of the crash and the moments after it. And man, we got a lot to talk about with this one. So first things first, if you noticed in that crash video, I told my homie, I was like, hey man, you know what that was?
You know what that was? That was some ego riding right there.
He and I had just met, really. He was leading a couple of laps and then I was leading a couple of laps around that little airport loop. And when I was leading, that's when I went down. And I said it was ego riding because he was pretty quick out there. And I was like, hey man, I'm quick too. And it's crazy because when I initially went there, I set out to just work on a few things. I wanted to work on being smooth. And every time I go to this spot, I tell myself, yo, this ain't the track, take it easy. That's Master Yoshi talking. Thug Nasty took over and was like,
nah, fuck all that. We fast out here.
And then it ended up getting me into some trouble. So yeah, it was my ego, man. I was pushing harder than I should have. I knew better, but since Buddy was behind me, I was like, look, let me show you a little thing or two. You know what I'm saying? I can make it do what it do. All in all, I should not have been trying to go that fast out on public roads. I know that, I understand that. But let's get down into what technically went wrong, aside from my poor decision of riding like I did. One of the factors that caused this, I believe, was probably having cold tires. I had only been riding for about 5 minutes, so there definitely wasn't that much heat in the tires. And you can even see right here, when I first started off taking these laps, I was trying to work a little bit of heat into them, but I know I didn't do enough. I really think this is one of the factors. Even after the crash, the homie said,
Like the front gave out.
and here's actually what it looks like from that front camera angle. And it sucks that I can't really utilize any of this 360 footage. The camera stopped recording after the impact. The impact caused it to stop recording. It didn't get to finish writing all the data. So it corrupted the file, and this is all I was able to extract. So yeah, as you can see here, as I'm turning, you just see that tire just give up. It says, all right, I'm out. So cold tires is one factor. Another factor that I believe caused this was that I early apexed this corner. And my man, Cheetah 740, he's told me before at an actual track for the specific corner I was taking, he's like, you taking it too early. Don't you feel like you about to run off track? And so I think me early apexing it caused me to require a little bit more lean angle, more than the bike, more than I had, more than those tires had in them. And that's what caused that front tire to just slip out in front of me. And I think that's partially why I went down as well. So boom, we got cold tires and we got a poor line choice. I don't think speed was too much of a factor. I think I definitely was going faster than the previous one. But here's some side-by-side video of a lap that I made it through successfully and the one that I failed on. All right, my clutch cable is blocking the speedometer, but you can tell in both of these cases I'm going very close to the same speed. But the important factor is in the left one where I made it through successfully, you can see I'm more to the left of the lane. In the right one where I crashed, I'm more to the center of the lane. And this is the start to why I say my line was incorrect. I'm already too far to the right. Okay, so here's where we begin to tip in. In the crash lap, you can tell I'm more off to the right, but also I'm going slightly faster. Even though we can't tell by the speedometer, my tachometer is a little bit higher. In the crash video, I'm getting very close to that white line already. At this point, I'm barely getting to that white line in the successful lap, but also I do think my speed is probably a lot less since my RPMs aren't at the same level. Here you can see in the crash when I started drifting out. So in order to make the turn, I would either have to slow down to decrease the radius or lean more. I of course chose the latter and ended up in the ditch. So right here, it does seem like we were going faster. 76 looks like it's what it reads on the right. 72 looks like what it reads on the successful lap. So all these factors combined created the perfect equation for a crash. That along with riding above my skill limit. So yeah, man, with my analysis, aside from the fact that it was just a poor decision to be out there riding like that on the streets, knowing damn well I should have been at a track trying to push like that. Aside from all that, I think what happened was I early apexed it. My tires were probably too cold, and I early apexed it for the speed that I was going. I was going a little faster than the lap that I successfully made it through, but yeah, man, it's all my fault. And man, I'm really thankful that I didn't sustain any real injuries. Really only jammed 2 fingers, and they bruised up. But other than that, I mean, this is almost a week later that I'm showing y'all this, but you know, I can pretty much move them. They ain't, you know, this pinky a little locked up from this joint. That's all I got with that right there. And then this finger, this joint is all good. And this one's getting better, but just jam fingers, man. So it was an expensive lesson that I learned, but I'm glad it wasn't a painful lesson that I learned. Ain't no more ego riding out there on the streets for me. And I damn sure ain't gonna ride with an ego on the track either, because I don't want to mess myself up or nobody else. I did want to talk to y'all about the place I was riding. Yes, it was on the streets. Yes, I should not have been riding like that, but I tried to do it in a place that I felt was the safest. If you've noticed on those laps, you know, there's never really a point to where I'm crossing paths with another car unless it's at a stop. Or there is a point when I'm merging in with traffic, but those corners are never taken fast. The corners that are taken the fastest are where we're not really risking anybody else's safety. And so I just wanted to make that point. I know it was irresponsible to be riding like this, but hey man, we tried to do what we could do when we can do it, you know what I mean? And we just wanted to make sure we wasn't risking anybody else's health out there. And so in this next video, we're gonna tear down the bike, look at all the damage, assess it all, figure out what I need to do. And if that video ain't here yet, go ahead and check out my first track day. Other than that, y'all stay blessed, don't be too stressed. Master Yoshi out, peace.